our Canadian snowbirds, they coming to spend 6 months, say, in Mexico or in Florida. And after then, or they so like that they decide to be there kind of full time, or something happened. So they were kind of not prepared in advance, but things happened and now they decided not to go back to Canada.
So that is fine. When you're using Mexico or the United States, we have a treaty with them. So if you're in Mexico, as long as you're sort of paying tax to the Canadian government, you're treating yourself like a resident of Canada. Okay, and then you decide I'm not going back. If you are living in Mexico or the United States, I don't know Mexico rules. I know the United States, but let me use the United States as an example. If you are there for more than 183 days in a year, you are a resident of that year. If you are also a resident of Canada because you have a home there, you have family there, you have whatever, all these things, all these ties, then you're a resident of both places. So the treaty will tell you which one you are closer to. So if you want to leave the Canadian tax net, you can do that if you minimize your ties to Canada. If you minimize your ties to Canada, you can do that. You will have the exit tax at that time. That is fine. That is fine. We can still do that because you are a resident of Canada. Because you are sitting physically in the other country, it's not as big of a deal if you were still a resident of Canada up to that point. So if you were sitting physically in Florida and you tell me after 5 years, oh, I'm severing ties with Canada, that's fine. As long as until that time you were filing as a Canadian resident.
Even
Because we
the
will just,
property is still in Canada, even the property is still in Canada, but they physically now more in United States, not
yeah,
only more than 183 days, but actually spent a whole year in other country. They Canadian residents anymore.
well, look, if you spent more than a year in the other country, but Canada, you still have, like, this is what I said before, if you still have house, some family, maybe bank accounts, this, all that stuff that's available to you, you can argue that you're still a Canadian resident because Canada will see that you have all these ties. So, like I said, Canada might see you as still a resident. The United States will see you as a resident, and then you go down the list of tiebreaker. Where do I have a permanent home available to me? If both places, next test. Where's my center of vital interest? Where are my friends? Where are my family? Where's my bank account? Where's my social club? Where's all that stuff? If that proves inconclusive, where's my habitual
Equal.
abode? Where's my normal mode of life? Right? And then four, citizenship. Usually you don't get past, maybe number one, you get past. Number two is where, or three, you're going to break the tie. I'm speaking for the United States, but a lot of the treaties in the OECD, Mexico, I don't know off the top of my head Mexico, but if I looked at it, it has similar tests to that. The OECD, the, Organization for Economic, Cooperation Development, those countries have those sort of tests in their treaties.